When you stop filling every silence, something strange happens. People around you start to squirm, not because you did anything wrong, but because your quiet forces them to face the one person they avoid, themselves. By the end of this video, you will never see an awkward pause the same way again. You know the moment. The conversation runs out and the air suddenly feels heavy. Someone laughs nervously. Someone grabs their phone. Someone says anyway, and starts a story nobody needed. And then there is you, sitting there calm, saying nothing, perfectly comfortable. People have called you intimidating, cold, hard to read, maybe even arrogant. Strangers feel the need to perform around you. They talk faster, over-explain, fill every gap. Later they say things like, "I don't know why, but I told you everything." You did not interrogate them. You just did not interrupt. Meanwhile, you have been wondering if something is wrong with you. Why small talk feels like a job you never applied for. Here is the truth. Nothing is broken in you. Your silence is not empty. It is full, and people can feel it. In the next few minutes, we will unpack why silence makes people so uncomfortable and why yours feels so loud. Some of it will sting a little, because the discomfort others feel around you says more about them than about you. Let us start with what a pause actually does to a human brain. A conversation is like a game of catch. Words fly back and forth, and everyone knows their job. The moment the ball stops, the game disappears, and what is left is just two people looking at each other. Most people cannot handle that. Researchers found that a pause of barely 4 seconds is enough to trigger anxiety. 4 seconds. That is all it takes for someone's brain to start screaming that something is wrong. And why? Because in a fluent conversation, people feel accepted. The rhythm itself says, "We are okay." When the rhythm breaks, the brain reads it as rejection. Am I boring? Did I say something stupid? Do they hate me? Notice what just happened there. The silence did not say any of that. Their own mind did. Silence is a blank screen, and the brain hates blank screens, so it projects its deepest fear onto them. An insecure person looks into your quiet and sees judgment. An anxious person sees danger. A guilty person sees accusation. You are not doing anything. You are simply not rescuing them from their own thoughts. That is why the same silence feels peaceful to one person and unbearable to another. Think of your quiet as a mirror. People do not react to you. They react to their own reflection. This is also why confident people rarely mind your silence. They look in the mirror and nothing scary looks back. But people who run from themselves all day, your stillness corners them. You become the one room in the house where the music stops. And some people have never heard their own thoughts before, so the discomfort is real. It is just not yours. But that raises the deeper question. Why are humans so terrified of a quiet moment in the first place? Go back 50,000 years. For your ancestors, the sounds of the tribe meant safety. Chatter around the fire meant everyone was relaxed. Sudden silence meant one thing: predator. Your nervous system still carries that wiring. Silence flips an ancient alarm. Something is out there. That is the first layer. But the modern fear of silence runs deeper than old survival code. From childhood, most of us learned that talk equals connection. A quiet child gets asked, "What's wrong?" We learned that pauses are failures, that a good conversation has no gaps, like a good road has no potholes. So people learn to treat words like duct tape. Something cracks open is quick, cover it with sound. Watch people at a funeral. Watch them around someone who is grieving. The pain is not the only thing that scares them. The silence around the pain terrifies them, so they say clumsy things just to make noise. And now add the modern layer. We have engineered silence out of existence. Headphones on the walk, podcast in the shower, phone at the red light, Netflix to fall asleep. The average person now panics in a quiet room within minutes. In one famous study, people chose electric shocks over sitting alone with their thoughts. Read that again. Physical pain felt safer than 15 quiet minutes inside their own head. That is the world you are walking around in. A world allergic to the very thing you are comfortable with. So, when you sit in a pause without flinching, you are not just being quiet. You are doing, casually, the one thing most people have spent their whole lives avoiding. No wonder it unsettles them. You are living proof that the thing they fear is survivable. And the human mind has a strange habit. When someone is not afraid of what we fear, we do not feel inspired. We feel exposed. Which brings us to the part nobody likes to admit. Silence is not just comfort, it is power. In every conversation, there is an invisible economy. Words are spent. Attention is the currency. The person who talks the most is usually paying the most. Paying for approval, paying for reassurance. The person who can sit in silence owes nothing, and everyone at the table can feel it. Negotiators know this. There is an old rule. After the offer, the first one to speak loses. Here's the twist almost nobody knows. Silence does not just reveal pressure, it creates it. A pause acts like a vacuum. People feel pulled to fill it. With words, with offers, with confessions. Police interrogators use it. Therapists use it. Great interviewers use it. They ask, then they wait. The other person fills the vacuum with the truth, just to make the discomfort stop. You may have been doing this by accident your whole life. Remember those strangers who told you everything. They were not reacting to your questions. They were reacting to the space you left open. Silence is also a boundary. It quietly says, I do not owe you a reaction. When someone provokes you and you answer with calm quiet, you take the script out of their hands. They prepared for your defense. They prepared for your anger. Nobody prepares for your nothing. That is why manipulative people often escalate around a quiet person. Your silence starves the reaction they feed on. And that is why your quiet can feel threatening to controlling people. It is the one thing they cannot manage. Power, boundaries, truth serum. All from simply not talking. But before you start enjoying this too much, you need to hear the other side. Because silence has a price. And you have probably been paying it for years. Let us talk about what your quiet costs you. Humans are meaning-making machines. When you give them no words, they do not see neutral. They write a story. And the story they write is almost never the real one. Your calm becomes coldness. Your listening becomes judgment. Your thinking becomes distance. People rarely ask, what are you thinking? They just decide what you are thinking and treat you accordingly. So, the quiet kid becomes the weird one. The quiet colleague becomes hard to work with. The quiet partner becomes emotionally unavailable. None of it is true. All of it sticks. There is a strange rule hiding here. Silence between strangers reads as awkward. But silence between people who trust each other deepens the bond. The same pause carries two opposite meanings. Its meaning is decided by the security of the person receiving it. And here is the loneliest part. The more comfortable you are with silence, the fewer people feel comfortable with you. You end up respected from a distance, invited but not approached, seen but rarely known. Some of you have worn the intimidating label so long you started to believe it is your personality. It is not. It is a translation error between your inner world and their nervous system. And if you never correct that error, you pay for other people's discomfort with your own connection. The answer is not to become a chatterbox. That would be abandoning yourself. The answer is learning to use silence the way you would use any other power, deliberately. Here's the shift. There are two kinds of silence, and they look identical from the outside. There is silence as a wall, the quiet you hide behind when connection feels risky. And there is silence as a door, the quiet that invites someone to come closer without fear. The difference is not in your mouth. It is in your face, your posture, your intention. So, first, keep your silence, but warm it up. A nod, soft eyes, a small that says, I am here. Warm silence tells people the quiet is not about you. You are safe in it. Second, name it sometimes. Say, I am quiet because I am actually thinking about what you said. One sentence like that can delete years of being misread. Third, use the pause on purpose. Before you answer something important, let 3 seconds pass. Watch how the quality of your words changes when they stop being a reflex. Fourth, stop apologizing for not performing. You do not owe anyone a soundtrack. But do check one thing, honestly. Is your silence peace, or is it hiding? If it is peace, protect it. If it is hiding, that is not depth. That is fear wearing depth's clothes. The goal is a silence you choose, not a silence that chooses you. Because the quietest person in the room can be the loneliest or the freest. The difference is intention. So the next time a pause falls over a conversation, do not rush to kill it. Sit in it. Let it breathe. Notice who panics, and notice that you do not have to. Your silence will still be misread sometimes. That is the tax on being someone who does not need noise. But the right people will learn your language. They will stop hearing your quiet as distance. They will start hearing it as what it always was, presence without performance. And maybe that is the real lesson. Silence does not make people uncomfortable. What it does is turn the volume up on whatever was already inside them. So here's the question to sit with tonight in a quiet room with no screen. When was the last time you let a silence simply exist without rushing to fill it? Tell me in the comments. And if this video felt like someone finally described you, you know which button to press. Silently, of course.